Hi, I'm John with the Wishmeyer Group at your local In-Homes Today office brokered by EXP. Today, I have the honor of being with Cole and Tristan. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Okay, they're with TriFlix, and I got some notes here. TriFlix Photo and Video Services, your one-stop shop for all your photo needs.
Nice.
Okay. All right.
Said it better than we could have.
Yeah. And full disclosure, as in real estate, we use TriFlix for our real estate photos, and also the drone photos. That they do kick a job. And what we found, great photos can really make a big difference on, just the marketing, that sale. We all look for lower days on market on our home sales, so a good photo can really make that difference. All right, but you guys do so much more than just taking photos of pretty homes.
Yep.
Or taking photos of homes and making them look pretty in some instances.
Yes. I can't tell you how many times we've had somebody come back to us and say, we might have some disappointed people after showings. And I go, well, then I did my job.
All right. Good. Anyone talking to you guys, though, can tell you have so much passion for your craft.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And within any small business, that's important. If you don't have that passion, it's hard to get people to want to use you.
Yeah,
Okay.
agreed.
All right. Today we're here. I'd like to just find out a little bit more about what makes you tick. That menu of services. Some of those things. So,
Okay.
I guess to start with, what actually got you guys started in partnering up that actually started in that photography field?
Yeah. I'll let you start about it.
So I grew up and I always knew engineering was a plan B, and ever since in middle school, and I saw a video my cousins made just for fun whenever they were like in high school, and I was in middle school, and I was like, I want to do that. I want to make videos. So from a really young age, video and having a company was always plan one, and my secondary was always engineering as a fallback, which worked out really well because it got us in with a lot of early on manufacturing and internships and learning engineering. So I was able to work with a lot of manufacturers and have that comprehension, and then all this video background. And I did that for about 7 years on my own, and then I realized I was getting asked to do websites and video and all these other things and live streams, and I could do them, but I was really wanting a partner, somebody that could help bolster all those sides of the business, which was about 3-4 years ago when I met Cole.
Yeah, and so kind of pre to that as well, always had a camera in my hand, did a lot of stuff with just friends. I'm kind of the guy that has like the library of photos that is like, I don't want to say it, right? It's kind of like blackmailing, It's like, they're like, don't pull the library up when Cole's around, don't say anything, right? I just was in my hand, I enjoyed it a lot. But kind of when I got older, I didn't feel like maybe I had the right creative mindset. So I went to school to work on computers, and I was like, I love tech, so I figured, hey, that makes sense. Life happens, everything kind of flipped on its head, and I might be outing myself now, but I got licensed as a real estate agent, and that's kind of how all this stuff got started. So I did that for a while, and you don't get paid until you close, right? So I needed money, and they were like, you have a camera, just shoot houses. And so that's where that kind of started, and I started shooting in 17 and just kind of pushed through. So I came to the same realization that Tristan came to. I can't do it on my own. I need help. If it's going to grow, I can't do it, on my own. So I was looking for an employee, not a partner. I didn't think that could work. So I said, well, let's give this a shot. And I went with a gut feeling. Tristan was a buddy of a cousin of mine, and we just happened to cross paths. And I said, well, you're doing something similar. Maybe this could work. Tristan's got a lot of video knowledge. I've got the photo knowledge. Yeah. This could be the perfect partnership. And I said, hey, we should just partner and merge our businesses. And he said, hold on a second. Let me talk to my wife and let's look at some stuff. And I said, okay, I'm ready when you are. You just tell me.
Yeah.
And 4 years later, we're still going.
Yeah. Doing a whole lot of all the photo and video for sure, man. It just keeps growing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, and you had mentioned something about like what we do beyond what we call property media now. That was honestly, it was supposed to be a means to an end. We thought that we would continue to work through that, and then the production side we've got a little more margin there, so maybe it would just be, that would be our final goal.
Yeah, and that's all like production is like, that's all the manufacturing, commercial, small business, big business, enterprise. It doesn't matter the size because we bring that same level of quality. Like you said, the passion, it's like that's our passion. So we're going to bring that same quality and excellence regardless of the size of the company. Yeah. And then it's just a matter of just adjust the scope to fit the budget for that specific person. For a bigger company, they might want some grandiose thing, and a smaller one's like, how much can we get with this? And it's like, there's something for everybody, and we want to make, our goal's always been to make it as accessible to everyone, because media is expensive, it's hard, and it's difficult for people to do in-house and on their own. So whenever they come to us, they're just a lot of times looking for somebody to trust, and that's something we really take a lot of pride in, being local. You don't want a bad name. You want to make people happy.
That's true.
Yeah, no, that trust factor it's huge.
Yes.
In small business, in like on your video production and stuff like that, like with corporations, it's not just, you don't have to be big business. It can be a nonprofit. It can be just a small business and wanting to get yourself out there more.
And that's such a big deal to us, because I'm glad you brought up the nonprofit side and especially the small businesses. First and foremost, him and myself, our background is our faith, and we wanted to find a way that, being a small business, tithing and giving back is really important to us, but it's hard whenever you're getting started. So what are other ways other than financially that you can just give out? And our time and our expertise is something that people really resonate with. So we've been working a lot with nonprofits as a way to give back. So whenever we work with nonprofits, we try really hard to make it even more attainable and do even larger projects than what we could do otherwise. So whenever somebody's supporting us for anything, that's really helps leverage our relationships to give back to the community. We work with a lot of nonprofits, a lot of churches, a lot of rehabilitation centers, a lot of resource centers, places that people in the community may know of, and it's nice to know that it's not just about money for us. At the end of the day, it is that passion, but this is our community, and we want it to be as nice as possible. And it's not one of those, well, this might be happening, and Columbus, like a real negative attitude about it. It's like, well, then do something about it. And this is our way of doing something about it. We really want to make a difference.
I love that. That is very heartfelt.
Yeah.
Well, and trust me, if we wanted to make money, we would probably be doing something else.
IT and engineering, man. Those were good fields. They still are. They are.
Yeah, we stopped doing some very different jobs to pursue this. So.
Yeah. But we're proud of it.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, then I think you had mentioned this earlier. It's the passion. It is there. We care a lot about this, and it was about building a culture and supporting the community and being part of things. We love showing up to events and everybody's like, oh, we just saw you yesterday, or we saw you last month at this event, and it just continues to happen, and there's no better feeling than that.
Awesome. It's true. So you guys, I assume just the technology is just ever changing.
Yeah.
Is it easier today than what it was 5-6 years ago?
Easier and harder. I think there's pros and cons to it. I think the world's moving faster than it ever has. But it's just that word passion, and his background in IT and my background in engineering, and the people that the awesome team that we've built, everyone has this genuine passion for tech and infrastructure and IT and all these different, honestly, just kind of nerdy things, right?
We're a bunch of nerds, like flat out, we just are. So part of this is just so also we can buy cool tech.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
So yeah, it is changing. It is difficult because you have to learn stuff new all the time. But if you enjoy it, that's like, what more could you ask for? It's like you're basically, your job funds this habit of wanting to learn something that you're interested in, and with AI and with drone and getting licensed and doing things according to the FAA, all of the safe set crew, so how you conduct yourself in different manufacturing environments, that safety is important. We want to make sure our crew's important. all of that plays into it. So it's not always tech and fun. Sometimes it's accounting and difficult things too.
Of course.
Laws are always changing, but yeah, we love it, and we love being able to learn it.
I'm sure some of it's just like being a real estate agent. The short time you were a real estate agent, I'm sure you learned really quick that it's not all about just showing pretty homes. That
Right.
you know, 90% of your time is actually stuck in front of a computer.
Yes.
Yeah,
there's a very large portion of what we do, and even on the real estate side, that's not glamorous.
Yes.
It just isn't, and it's part of it. And I think that's been something too that we want to make sure that like everybody understands that this isn't one of those things where we just woke up one day, did this, and we're just cashing checks, and it's every minute of it is like we're flying drones and we're driving cars and we're shooting with cool equipment. It's like it takes all of it, and running a business is difficult.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be genuine about it, it is. I think what we've done, it could be either encouraging or discouraging depending on where someone is with their business. But early on, like there were points where we pull up Indeed and we're looking, and we're like, what could we be doing else out? Maybe a year or two in, and it's hard running a business, but we're very grateful that we've had an awesome team and a great community behind us that continue to support us through those difficult times. And that's really, it's encouraged us to keep pushing no matter what. I mean, at the end of the day, our conclusion of looking on Indeed was, we really do like what we do. And honestly, I couldn't, even with all the Google searches in the world, I couldn't find a job that I would enjoy more than what I do now.
Okay.
And it's that passion.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just said it better myself.
No. When it comes down to it, you're entrepreneurs. And, I straight out of college, I've never truly worked for anyone. I've always been an entrepreneur, so I love the mindset. So being an entrepreneur, I'm sure you guys, and I know it's photos and videos, but I'm sure you have plans. Any big things that you're thinking about to expand business?
Trying to think about things we can talk about.
And don't disclose what you can.
Yeah,
No, I'd say there's hiring and growing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're as business owners, funny enough, I'm not like the 100% full-on Dave Ramsey guy, but he was talking recently, like, if you're an entrepreneur and you don't have a 5-year, 10-year plan, then you're not doing it right. Like, you have to have a plan. There has to be an end goal.
Yes.
And so most of the time for us, growth looks different on a year-to-year basis, but growth is kind of our number one thing. Mm-hmm. How do we continue to expand? That allows us to get more people on the team. And, honestly, so for somewhat selfish reasons, it also helps to take a little bit off our plate and lets us get more focused.
Okay.
So we just hired on a new real estate photographer. We're training her and we're trying to expand that out. We're trying to bring those lead times down. Promise. And then beyond that, we're hoping we've looked at some people to be able to help us out with production in general to kind of start that process. Because Tristan and I, neither one of us are classically trained or went to school for this.
Yeah.
And we do think that there is value to that.
Yeah, I don't want to be the smartest person in the room.
I want to have. We're good on that.
I've learned it's definitely a heavily engineering field mindset. A lot of manufacturers do this. It's like you just have to have someone at the top that understands a little bit of everything and understands it in enough detail on what makes it work. But they don't need to get into the weeds of it all. Yes. And that's where hiring and finding partners, the people that can excel in something that you lack in. Yes. And eventually, I want to be the dumbest person in the room. Like, that's what I want to work towards, because I want everyone else on our team to be intelligent at what they're doing, to be competent, but also to put them in the roles that they're passionate about. Because at the end of the day, you can have the greatest fit for that role on paper, but if they're not loving what they're doing, it's only going to be a temporary burn, and then eventually you have to find someone else. So it's really important, like you mentioned, getting that culture, growing the culture correctly. Yeah. I mean, there's line items and there's spreadsheets and there's accounting and all that, and maybe someday, 30 years from now there'll be IPO and shareholders, but for the time being, it's like all I care about is making sure that our team's satisfied and making sure that everyone is getting to work on projects that they enjoy and that the clients are satisfied. Yeah. And that's what growth looks like.
Yeah. So it's just put the right people in the right places.
Yeah.
Tristan and I have worn all the hats, and at this point it's about taking off some hats and seeing how we can just really refine our current systems and our current team. So
Yes.
and hopefully expand. So
Okay.
yeah, and then there's some other things, but we'll,
Yeah.
And the
One day.
idea is a joke. I think he and I both enjoy
Yeah.
working for ourselves.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much.
I was gonna say everybody's got their amount, you know, not gonna lie, but
The part of what you said, some of the best business owners actually take that step back, and you're hiring people smarter than you are.
Yeah. that was it's been less difficult for Tristan. Very difficult
Because
for
I'm
me.
just thrilled.
Tristan very early on was like, you need to be thinking about this.
Yeah.
And
Because
Okay.
before we partnered, I've had employees before, I've had interns, and that was just a big part of how I've seen other businesses grow. A lot of mentors have shown me that way. But before we partnered, you were always a solo.
yeah,
And
very hands on. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Okay.
so yeah. That's the goal. The goal is to continue to grow and to obviously continue to integrate in the community. So we love Columbus.
Oh, that's awesome, guys. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thank you, John.
I think you guys truly opened up, and I think you're going to give some viewers a side of you that many do not know.
Yeah.
And I'll have all the links, things like that for TriFlix. But anytime you need photos, videos, things like that, please call Cole or Tristan at TriFlix Video.
Call.